Hey guys, welcome back to She's All Business. Happy Thursday. I hope everybody's doing well. This is our first reflection episode. After every week, when we have a guest, there's going to be a reflection episode where it's just me rambling, talking to you guys about my life, and reflecting on what the guest said the previous week. I guess let's talk about just my life in general. Okay, I'm obviously the host of this show, and I feel like a lot of my episodes are primarily going to be focusing on other people that are not me, and that's completely fine with me. But I think it's kind of weird if I'm the host and you guys know nothing about me. So just like a little bit about Sophia Dominica, myself. I go to Parsons School of Design. I'm studying journalism and design, and I'm also studying integrated design with a pathway in fashion business, and I'm minoring in fashion communications. So I'm going to get 2 degrees, which is really exciting. A lot of hard work, but really exciting overall. And integrated design is basically a mix of any type of design and a little bit of business. And I'm more interested in the business side. If I wanted to do 2 degrees, I had to do some sort of design as my other major. So this was the next closest option to get a mix of business and design. I have done a bunch of internships, and that's kind of why I wanted to start this podcast. I always get feedback on how I have a really good work ethic and I get a lot of opportunities, and I thought, okay, what is something I can talk about? I can talk about getting opportunities, but I really can't talk about the people behind the opportunity. So I thought that this would be like a really great mixture for the podcast, which is kind of off topic. My freshman year, it was around Christmas time. I was home in Pennsylvania. That's where I'm from. And I was just in bed. It was like 2 a.m. and I was like, I'm doing nothing with my life. I was having a little bit of a crisis for no reason. I just get stressed and anxious about random things for no reason. And I was like, I'm doing nothing. I'm actually doing nothing with my life. So I looked up on Google fashion internships in New York City, and I was scrolling, and I found this one, and it was a styling internship, and I knew nothing about styling. I was like, what the heck is styling? And I was like looking it up, and I just didn't understand what it was. You know what? Let me just see what the requirements are to apply. It was so simple. All I had to do was submit my resume, which I recently had updated, and I think my email. Like, it wasn't in depth. There was no extra questions that I had to fill out pertaining to it. So I did it. I went to sleep, completely forgot about it. Christmas came, whatever. 2 weeks later, I get an email, and it's from this internship. And they're like, hey, we would love to set up a time to interview with you. And I was like, what? And I like completely forgot. I was like, who is this? And I looked back and I was like, oh my goodness. So we set up a Zoom time the following week. I made like a Google Slides presentation, which looking back, the idea of it was really smart, but the actual content I put in there was so stupid looking back. Like a brief little intro, like bullet points about me, a picture of me, and then I put some experience that I've had that's related to fashion. So like in high school I was in the fashion club, and I put that on there, and like the events that I planned with that, and then also like just some other little things that I can't really remember. I did some research. I found out who their clients were. They were celebrity clients, and I put together a little like mood board of how I would style them. And looking back, how I did it and the content of what I decided to use wasn't great. I still appreciate the idea of what I did, and I think that it did pay off because they could see how excited I was and that I put an extra effort into something that I didn't need to make a good first impression. So, weigh the odds. I had my Zoom interview. It went well, I think. I mean, this is my first like real professional interview. I've had like, jobs in high school. She liked the PowerPoint I made. I don't know if she was lying, but then I went in the following week for a trial day. This was right after Christmas break. I was there for 3 hours. It went well. And then I got my first internship. Last year at this time, I got another internship, and it was another stylist, and I became a head intern because of the experience I had. And from there, all of the assistants on that job, almost all of them, like 3 out of 4 of them, pulled me multiple different times for different jobs as a freelance intern or later down the line a freelance assistant. I became a freelance stylist assistant due to that experience because a lot of people put a lot of trust in me and they appreciated my hard work, and it really paid off. And now I can say I'm a freelance stylist assistant because I've done it. I can do, like, if somebody needs to come to me for styling that's not a celebrity, I can do that. I got another internship for Fashion Week, and then the following Fashion Week I was asked back, which was this past Fashion Week, which we will talk about in the next episode, which I'm excited about. I've just done a bunch of different random things, and I went into this having no idea what styling is to now being a freelance stylist assistant and like loving it and being like, I could do this as a career. I mean, who knows if I'm going to, but I could totally do it. So Puja and I have known Puja for over a year, I would say by now. She's amazing. Like, I really love her. I love her so much. She is such a great mentor, such a nice person, beautiful soul. And I remember the first time where I really like got to know her. I think it was the first week of my internship. We went shopping in Soho for a client. I really can't remember the details, but I remember it was me and her. We went together, and it was really great to like get to know her and bond. And I think that was like the first time since I've been in the fashion industry, and I was in the fashion industry for at least a year on that point, where I truly met somebody that was just so genuine and so kind. And it was just such a amazing experience to really meet somebody like her. After my internship, we still remained in contact, and she had me do a job for her, like I think 2 separate jobs. Well, when I had her on the podcast, the whole plan was to really focus on her transition from finance to fashion. And I really thought that that was going to be like the biggest chunk and learning lesson from what she was saying. And honestly, I found that the most valuable thing that she was saying was about becoming a self-made expert. And I really thought it was so cool how she went into certain jobs not knowing what needed to be done for certain things, but she taught herself and she like learned along the way. When she transitioned into styling, she talked about how she only has worked in finance and maybe more strategy, and she curated her resume to articulate certain things that she's learned from her past jobs and how that can be related to styling or help her succeed in the styling industry. And I think that's something that needs to be harped on a bit more, is no matter what your experiences are, curating your resume to fit the job that you want will help you in the long run. I had an internship class like through school, and we really like talked in depth about resumes and how like you should have multiple different resumes. You should have a master resume and have different ones that are curated to the certain jobs that or experiences that you want. It just like made me really like reflect on everything. So I started this podcast, I guess now it's like 3 weeks ago, almost 3.5 weeks ago. And I mean, that's kind of a lie. I came up with the idea 3.5 weeks ago. And like within like a week of coming up with the idea, I like decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is my plan. This is the outline for how it's going to go. And it has definitely changed. But I know nothing, and I was really stressed. I was like, I know nothing about camera. I know nothing about lighting. I know nothing about audio. And I also know basically nothing about editing. After everything that she said, I like reflected and I'm like, okay, I'm doing what she said. I'm trying to become a self-made expert. I have no experience with this stuff whatsoever, but it's something that I want, something that I think that will help me succeed. So I'm just going for it and trying new things. And like, I find that's exactly what she's talking about. You don't have to be a real expert. Expert is more like in quotations, you know. It's the idea is to learn something new, taking the accountability for yourself to learn it for yourself to help you grow. It's really crazy to think about. No matter where you start, it can be a completely opposite end of where you're going to end up, and that's okay, because you can take those skills and implement them into your life in a way that you never would have thought would have been possible. And I think that's like a really great message to send out, is that you're in college now, or some of you might be in college now, just like me. You're going to gain so many more skills that it's going to give you more opportunity to want to learn more things and feel more confident in yourself. I kind of want to talk about the experience with Puja. Obviously, I've known her, so it was very comfortable, but I was really grateful to have her as my first guest. And she just made the entire environment so comfortable. Like, I don't know what other word to say. It was just so normal and relaxed. And we were both kind of nervous because I have a full setup going on here. But I've never done anything like this. And it's, you know, it's a little nerve-wracking. And she came in and she was so impressed with everything. I was just like, okay, it's going to go well. It's going to go well. No matter how nervous I am, because of the vibe that she is giving to the environment, it was so positive that it was just a great experience overall. And I think it was just fun. It was just a good experience. And I hope that she continues to do well. And I hope I can see her soon. I'm super thankful for everybody listening in. And I hope you guys found what Puja said last week to be really insightful. And I hope you can take what she said moving forward and really implement it into your life, and not being afraid to try new things, because you're not going to be perfect overnight with whatever you do. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble on about my life and, you know, what I found really inspiring from last week. Next week on Thanksgiving, there will be another episode dropping with a guest, and I'm super, super, super excited about this one. And, you know, I'm aware it's a holiday, but I hope you guys can listen in. It'll be worth it for sure. Happy holidays, and yeah, I'll see you next week.